the darkest nights, we find our light. Battered souls, but we won't lose sight. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial we carry on. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial we carry on. Surviving together, we stand tall. United forever. Strength and courage will overcome. Surviving together, victorious. Never, never alone. Hand in hand, we'll face the unknown.
We see you, we hear you, and we believe you. Hey everyone, hang on, I gotta get my earbuds in. Right. I had to grab my drink. I realized I didn't have any water in my cup. Thanks. So I have to leave you guys temporarily. You know why I'm like running away for water. Alrighty, let's see who is here. First off, if you don't know, you have landed on Surviving Together. We lovingly call this our SAS community, and we welcome you. And if you are just new to our channel, please feel free to join into the chat. You can just lurk and just listen. That's totally fine. I do want to preface this with I had another comment, and I want everyone to know that you do not have to share your story or even have a story to come to this channel. This channel is for sexual assault survivors. It is for trauma survivors in general, and it's also just for people who want to know more about either of those topics and how to support people and how to educate others on those topics and the related topics that we cover. So please don't shy away at all because you think that you've got to reveal something that's deeply personal and uncomfortable for you. So with that out of the way, please remember to hit that like button and comment if you can afterwards. It really helps the algorithm. Check to see if you're subscribed. I always go up and down 2 or 3 subscribers during the week. I don't know if YouTube just likes to play with them or what, but make sure that you're still subscribed if you had subscribed. If you haven't, please subscribe. I'm trying to get out new content just in terms of videos. There's a shorter 15 to 20 minute topics that we cover in our lives. And these lives generally last an hour to 2 to 3. 4 was our max, and then I finally just had to leave. I was getting a little tired. My voice was tired. I don't remember what we were on, but we went forever that day. Okay, let's see who is here. Janet, welcome. So happy to see you. Guys, if you don't know, Janet has just started a channel. We gave you it last time, but it's changing its name. So as soon as it is set up, we will put it up here for you guys again. And if you've subscribed to her old channel, she is able to just carry you over to the new channel with the new name. So you don't have to do anything. I don't want to say the name yet because I'm not certain. Janet, are we 100% set on the name? Can I announce it? I don't want to say it if you are still possibly tweaking it. But in the meantime, before she tells me, okay, we are set. All right, guys. So Janet's channel is called Carry On. I love it. And her content is going to be whatever, a little bit of everything, you know. Kind of what strikes her at the moment. A lot about communication and talking and dialogue, memories, you know, good ones, and whatever else. So I'll let her tell you all about it when she's on her channel. If Janet, if you want to come on here at some point and talk to us about the channel, you're welcome to. I'd always love that. All right, let's see who else we've got here. Shannon, welcome. So glad you're here today. Jadri, wow, 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 wow. So you're reading the book. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? I'm glad you're reading it now. There's some information we're covering trauma and sleep today, guys. And there's some information with that is related to the body, of course. But I'm not getting deep into trauma and the body. That's going to be a whole separate live stream. And I'm actually thinking that I'm probably going to break it down into two. So it'll be like a Wednesday and a Saturday that we do it. There is another topic that I want to talk to you guys about. Mock, welcome. Sahuara. Not sure if I'm getting the beginning part of that right. I'll just call you Christmas because I know I can get that. But welcome. I'm glad to have you. I know I've seen you in the chat one or two times before, and I think I've seen you over at the lifeboat. So glad to have you here. Who else do we have? Crystal. So glad you're here. Your therapist beat you up this morning. Oh no. Hopefully it was beating you into a good submission. Hopefully she got you on the right path. You got a diagnosis. Oh, I see. I didn't see that. You got diagnosed with CPTSD. That is fabulous. Isn't it weird? I think this is probably the only channel that we would say that on, but I do know that having a diagnosis and just knowing where to focus can be so critical. And what I'm going to be talking about today with trauma and sleep, of the different types of things that you can be diagnosed with, PTSD really is the only one that has the two different types of sleep issues that we're going to discuss. So one or both or all or a piece of this may apply to you, may not. I'm sure at some point, though, if you are a trauma survivor, you've had something of this nature and that it has come across for you. Christmas works. Woohoo! Yep. Shannon, I think you're going to find this very, very informative. I have a lot of information that I want to get out to you guys. There is so much more. And because I am late to the ball game, I have not done my thumbnail. So I'll get the thumbnail up. Then I will also get the description written. And there's some links to a couple of videos that I found were really good, that were concise, 10-minute long type of things that kind of explain some of the information that I'm going through today, that you can go back to as a reference if you'd like to look at them. And if you want to then watch any of the other videos that any of they do. Hey, Todd, how are you doing? So glad to have you. I know some other guys have asked about being a wrench, and I am happy to add you. If you are not a wrench now, if you are here in the chat and you want to be a wrench, please email me, because then I have a written record of it, and I will definitely make it happen, because I have to do it on the YouTube side, and I'm using StreamYard right now. So I have to switch over, and having YouTube open at the same time the StreamYard is, sometimes it can mess with the transmission a little bit. It's not so great. Anik, so glad you're here. You're waiting for your drone. Oh no. Oh no. What are you going to be doing with that? Yeah, Shannon, I think that the world is at your feet now, because just go back to the CPTSD vids that we've done, and go to any of them that you'll find on the internet and take what you want from them. I think that you are going to find that having this diagnosis and knowing where to go, I mean, there are definitive therapies for CPTSD. And of course, they're discovering new ones all the time. And what I'm going to go through at the very end are some different therapies that they found have worked for, it's really for trauma victims overall, but people with PTSD, which will include CPTSD. So, and I'll throw in my 2 cents about what I think about the different therapies as well. Filming. Well, you got to be operating the drone at the same time that you can't make stuff, right? You can't do your resin and drone at the same time, right? Wrong about that? Can you set on an autopilot? I guess it'd just be a camera then, right? It's still camera. Oh, sweet. Yeah, I mean, Janet, absolutely. Janet's saying the same thing, that I'm going to put it up because it's perfect. She says, when she got her diagnosis, everything made more sense and it validated jumble of emotions for you. If you go back to the PTSD versus CPTSD, you'll find the blurb where I'm talking about when I was going through this. You know, I've gone through cognitive behavioral therapy before, but never got real in depth with the trauma. And the people I did get in depth with, they weren't trauma therapists, and plus this was many years ago, so the therapy has come leaps and bounds from where it was. We understand so much more now, and there's been so much more research done into PTSD. And remember, everything that is PTSD is in CPTSD. It's just that we have a few other behavioral, emotional wrinkles. And when I came across it, I was like, so that's why I have depression. So that's why I have a little bit of anxiety. It's not just that I have depression and I've been trying to fix depression. It's bigger than that. There's more of an issue here that I need to be looking at and resolving. And so when you have that, I think it just, for me, I felt on top of the world, and it really just makes things feel like you're not nuts, you know, like you just don't have 50 things wrong with you. You know, you've really got one thing wrong with you. And Shannon, you may have had a lot of traumatic experiences, but I'm willing to bet, and I don't know because I'm guessing here, that your trauma is really the same. You know, go back and listen to the live I did with Tommy. Prison trauma. It's the same type of trauma we suffer. The event is different. The experiences that you go through that result in that trauma are different. But the trauma itself and the trauma effects that come from it, they're the same. Same depression, same anxiety, same sleep issues. So I want to encourage you to not feel like you have 50 things wrong with you, or I've been through this, that, and the other thing, so there's so much that I've got to work on. I bet you when you boil it down, you're still dealing with the same sort of things. And that makes it 10 times easier to deal with. I think we're all a little nuts in our own way, right? Crystal has a different diagnosis, and she states when she was finally diagnosed and learning about it, it made much more sense to her. Okay, this is why I do what I do. Plus, her care team then were able to dial into that. And now that you've got that diagnosis, your therapy should be more laser focused, especially if your therapist knows about trauma-based therapy, and because that's just so important. This is an important comment, Jadri. You said the reaction of other people to the trauma really complicates the trauma because it's its own trauma. I'm going to encourage all of you to, as much as you can, focus on yourself. And when we say focus on ourselves, it means that it's our own emotions that we deal with. It's our own bodies that we deal with. How someone else reacts to what they hear, that's their issue. Now, being on this end of it, we can give them some information, on how to deal with it, how to process it, where to put it in their brain, how best to support us if it's a person who's going to continually be in our lives. But that's their issue. You cannot take that on as your own. You deal with yourself. You deal with what goes on in your own body and in your own head in regards to you. That's one of those boundaries that you have to put. Whether it's somebody reacting to the trauma or whether it's just somebody reacting to you about something else or about your boundary. They want to push it and you're like, nope, boom. And they're reacting poorly. That's their deal. Your boundaries got to stay there. And so not accepting other people's emotions as our own, not dealing with that as a separate thing. Oh, here's more that's piling onto my plate. Nope. Stays on that side of the wall. Doesn't come over. So want to really, really, really encourage you as much as you can to try and walk that line. Sharon, so glad to have you. Glad you're here. Yeah, Todd, you're just weird and we're weird and it's just, it's all things. And Crystal, the anxiety and the depressive disorder, they stem from that CPTSD as well. And, so for me at least, and I know that I've been diagnosed with major depressive disorder because of its persistence and, its greatness or whatever, but whether they want to diagnose it as something separate from CPTSD or not, for me, I know that the depression and the anxiety are effects of that CPTSD, and that's where I put it. And so it's under the larger umbrella. And for me, whether technically, psychologically, that's true or not, I don't care. But for me, then it's easier to deal with because I've got one umbrella thing and then the things that go under it. CPTSD is just that umbrella diagnosis of everything that you feel within it and the way we react and how we have our emotions. And the depression and anxiety are part and parcel of it. Yeah, Todd, we already tried to possibly call the channel that, and I guess there are many, many, many channels with that in its name. But it was the first thing I said to her, too. Yes. All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, there's too many of them, Todd. There are too many with that name. If you've never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, I encourage you to read a summary of it and to go and just treat it like you're watching a musical, because it's essentially what you are, especially if you have live action people acting it all out as well as the movie. It's an event. Wait, what? Janet, say it isn't true. If that is true, then we have got to get together around here, I guess. Jen! Yay! So happy you're here. I know the competition's going to restart again in a few hours, but I'm going to announce. So Jen's niece took the overall title in her dance competition. Wow! Jen would have to specify more than that. That's basically all I know. I don't know. I know it's general dance. It's not like tap or ballet, but I don't know what you would call it. A watch party on YouTube. That's perfect. I don't know how we would set that up, but somebody probably knows. You saw Rocky Horror in school. No freaking way. That is hilarious. Yes, sometime, maybe, should we do it at midnight? It'd be like 6 a.m. for you, DeAudrey, if we did it like midnight here. That's always the thing, is the midnight show, because it became cultish. So they always had it as a midnight show, but we can show it anytime. But okay, that is, we've got to do it. Todd, I'm putting that on you. You figure out how and where we could do it, and then we'll get some invitations sent out, basically announcements on all our channels as to when it's going to do. You guys are everything that I've heard, so much more that you are okay with, and doing 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Okay, well, we'll figure it out, because we definitely want you as a part of this. Yes, Anik, absolutely. Jen, unfortunately, a couple of days ago, lost a dear old friend. I will leave it up to her if she wants to reveal more about that. But she's been through the ringer this year, and definitely wish her the best. And all my prayers are for her. And I'm going to keep trying to manifest good things for her. She took first place overall and won a bunch of the awards. The title is separate. Last year, she was second runner-up to the title. Okay. I think it's interesting that there's an overall and then also a title, because to me, overall is like the top. It's not individual categories, it's overall. So to have a title too, that kind of makes it a little strange. Yeah, we'll have to figure out, Jen, if we're going to truly do a midnight time or what. We'll figure out how. Oh, yeah. So it's so sad, because so many people of, I don't want to say that generation, because it's, you've got your Vietnam veterans, you've got Operation Desert Storm, you've got the Afghanistan people who went over, and they've all suffered PTSD. And I'm thankful that there is more acceptance in the military now of recognizing that people come back with this. And it's, I would say, almost the norm. But some people are just not able to cope. or able to get that help. And it is, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for us. And I know for Jen, even more. Did you see, Jen, the one thing I hadn't asked, did you see him? Were you able to get to the hospital? Shannon, yeah, exactly. At least they are trying to help veterans now. And the thing that, though, that I found out about it is some bases are better at it than others. You know, it's kind of like you have your liberal bases and your conservative bases, depending on where you are in the world, and like in the United States, depending on the base that you're at too. That bugs me. That really bugs me. That's up to you, Jen. If you want to come on, you are more than welcome to. If you don't feel up to it, that's fine. So, okay, you did get to see him. Well, I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you did. And I don't know how people feel here. I am a big proponent of organ donating, of giving somebody else a second chance at life who might not otherwise. There's also donating your body to science to help with research in particular. Yeah, the heat's been nasty and it's going to get worse, I guess. Okay. What I'm going to do, Jen, I'm going to put the invite into the chat. And when you get there, I will see you pop up on my screen. Probably about like us. I don't know what it's gotten to now. It's 75, 80. Not too terrible, but the sun's out, so it feels much, much hotter. I don't know why. It just feels more like equator sun, just that bright, burning ball of fire. It's weird. It's felt much hotter to me than it normally has. Yeah, Shannon, it is cold for you, but Janet said it was going to get over 30 degrees Celsius next week for her, which means uh-oh for us. I don't know what it means for you, but that definitely means uh-oh for us. If she's getting plus 30, we are definitely getting plus 90. So, yeeks. My email address, Anik, is survivingtogether, SASS, @gmail.com. It's not in this description because I haven't put a description up yet, but it is in every other video description. You will find it. And I believe it's also on just the channel in general too, but Surviving Together was taken. So that's how we got the SASS and the SAS. So we are the SAS community. Woo, woo, woo. And I'm really loving SAS Foundation. I really love that. That's kind of becoming a second futuristic goal of mine. That's sounding really, really good. So we'll see. Oh boy. Yeah, but is there a different hurricane? Isn't it great? I love it. I absolutely love it. And what it stands for too is perfect because it can stand for something. It's just wonderful. Mark, we're about the same. We have wind and it's pretty constant, but it's woof. Yeah, when you're standing in that sun, it's just brutal. Absolutely brutal. Oh, Crystal, that's wonderful. Your friend donated a body to science as well. Helped a lot of people. Yeah, and I don't disparage anybody. I don't judge anybody if it's not your cup of tea. If you have particular religious beliefs that the body is not to be desecrated, and to you an autopsy would be, to each their own. For me, definitely feel that I want to, encourage people in that. I got to sit up more. My doctor's yelling at me about that. All right, let's put Jen up here. Hey, girl. Nice to
Hi.
see you.
Hi. It's good to see you.
I love you.
I love you too. Put this on vibrate just in case somebody decides to call or text or something.
So our hearts go out to you, and apparently out to the people in Houston. Is that where the hurricane's headed for? I'm so out
Berwin?
of
Yeah.
touch.
hmm
Oof. Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they get hit a lot, unfortunately. They do. They get hit a lot with the hurricanes lately. And it started forming before the season formed, or I mean started.
Well, I'm so not up. How did Jamaica fare? I know they had that one that went right over them.
Um Not sure how they fared on this one. I know some of the Caribbean islands had a real problem with this one, but honestly, the last 2 days I haven't been paying attention at all.
Yeah, I haven't been. I've kind of been in my own little world as well.
I just wanted to say hi, everybody. I see all your hellos. I just wanted to say hi, not to
Hi
your faces, but to your love you too, Crystal. Thank you.
to everybody out there. And listen, I'm just going to make this announcement. Jen's GoFundMe is still active and live. And even if you A, have already donated, B, can't donate, if you can share it with anybody else, just share it on your social media, any that you have, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, Facebook, that would be helpful, because I say we, like I'm a part of it. Well, in a little way.
I
Um,
mean, you are in your way. You definitely are.
Trying to still raise a little bit more. Gotten so far. It's been wonderful.
Seriously,
But we need that last push to kind of get everything covered. So if you can, I will put it in the description. Jen, if you want to type it into the chat, and then I will also put it in the description after we're done with the live.
I'm working. I'm working on the what the heck was it got me signing in? I'm working on getting the link. I just have to, I'm just have to be a loser and do it with my phone, because right now my brain isn't working properly enough to do it on my PC, which is silly. It should be easy, but when I go into my email, for some reason
There's you guys are hearing feedback.
you are. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I think that I might have okay, right, that's fine.
If you had YouTube open on your
So you're
phone,
hearing
that would.
feedback? Yeah.
I don't hear
I also
anything. I'm good.
it's okay. I also have it, just realized this used to happen. I'm needing a meeting. I will be right back because it's on in the living room. I'm going to turn that off.
Oh, yes, it doesn't like that. Yeah, it definitely doesn't. StreamYard does not like competing with the feed at all. So no, but she'll turn it off on the TV, and then we'll get it here. How much different is it going to be for you, Janet and Victoria? I mean, I know you're coming south a bit, and you're going way west. Are you going to just get more rain and snow now? I mean, you're still going to get snow. Hello, hello.
So is that better?
Oh, Shannon. No kidding. Victoria's northern Mediterranean climate. Really?
Oh,
That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Yeah, Deaudrey is like 3 weeks away from moving from South Africa to Ireland.
oh, I'm
How
so
amazing.
yes of that move. I would like to move to Ireland as well, please.
That, yeah,
Putting my order in now. I
I
have
just,
enough. I'm only some second generation, so I'm able to holy guacamole.
I'd have to move to Poland. Shannon, I'm there with you. I'm 50% Polish. And
People,
what did you say the rest of you was?
which
English,
one?
Scottish, Polish. Shannon, are we related somehow? Because my mom is like English, Scottish, whatever. She is the reddest hair redhead you've ever seen. And my dad is 100% Polish. So you get me. I had the fairest skin until I went and lived in Kenya for a while. And then I came home with my dad's skin. It just bizarre. So, girl.
All right, so I put the link in the chat. Thank you for bringing that up. Also, shout out to Anik for reaching out to me and reminding me that this was on. I was just laying in the dark listening to music, which was nice, but I want to be, alive.
Making the connections, right? Absolutely. Still important. Anik, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I haven't been. Obviously, I think most of you guys in here know I've been kind of spotty lately with my presence. All that SPPV crap just really got on my nerves. So I kind of unplugged from all that.
You will find me here. I have not been on the lifeboat, but maybe once in the last 2 weeks. I've just been,
Yeah, I don't know what's
as I
going
said,
on.
I've been focusing on me.
Yeah.
My room is clean.
Hey.
My bathroom is clean. I scrubbed the floor.
Okay. I'm
There's
gonna give you your shout out for that. However, I moved furniture in my living room and office, switched them,
Woohoo!
cleaned everything, vacuumed, mopped the whole apartment, did all my laundry.
Boom.
Mm.
Awesome. I think I
Yeah.
have one load of laundry left, but Kieran was using the washer, so.
I'm also taking care of 4 other cats besides my own this weekend.
Not in your apartment, though.
No,
Okay,
because
good.
if Linda from downstairs didn't hate cats and wouldn't attack my cats, I would have them all together. But then my sister has 3 cats too that I am sharing duties with a couple of her friends. My sister's friends. I went yesterday, and then I'll go again on the 8th and then the 10th. But
Where is she?
at Nationals.
I didn't know it was somewhere else.
Oh yeah. You have to leave. They have nationals all over the country. I'm not
Oh,
going to
okay.
say, not because of you and I don't trust you, but I'm not going to say what.
No, that's fine. I did not realize it was not. That's why when you said I can come on, I was expecting you to come on from like an arena or something. I thought you were like there, so I didn't realize
No,
it was
I
somewhere
mean,
else.
clearly with all of my
Yes.
struggles lately, I can't afford. I couldn't afford to go to Kalahari. I couldn't afford to go to nationals. I'm just trying to. Right now, I do have my car. My car is paid up. My rent is halfway paid up. I need to get the rest of the money to pay my landlord off and get out of here and be in something healthier and safer. And I need car insurance and my tabs because my birthday was 2 weeks ago. So my tabs expired on my birthday, and I had obviously I embarrassingly enough had lapsed on my car insurance. Wasn't really driving that much except to work and back. And oh, thank God the guys downstairs are getting evicted. So no more gnats and mice and stinky smells
Oh, good.
from the piggies downstairs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys have no idea. They're just like, ugh. God only knows
Mhm.
what kind of state they're gonna leave the
I heard my
apartment.
landlord down there last weekend, and they were screaming at each other. And he's like, "This is disgusting. This is pathetic. You need to clean this place up and find a new place to live." And then the next day, there was paperwork for each of them in the mailbox.
I bet, I bet. Yikes.
I got
Well, good.
Elvis here for the month of July on my calendar, which is pretty cool.
Sweet.
And being a landlord is it's,
You know,
I wouldn't want to be a landlord.
no, and that people asked me when I moved up here, my ex was still in my house because it was my house in Kalamazoo. And like, why don't you just rent it out? It's a wonderful house. You could just do, and I'm like, I'd have to be a landlord then. And I don't want to be, even I'd have to have somebody down there I'd have to have the money to treat, to do something. If something major happened, it'd be my responsibility. I didn't have the money for it. I couldn't fix it. So it's
I
like,
don't mind owning my own spot, right?
oh
But
yeah,
I don't want to rent anything out.
yeah,
I didn't even used to think that I wanted to own anything. But, now that I'm in my 50s, I'm like, yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
I
cool.
mean, I'm on a third story walk up, but and my body doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Find it.
And this is this between the stress of my financial situation, being upset about missing DC twice in 3 weeks, and now Jamie passing.
Right.
I'm
It takes a toll on your body.
I'm surprised that I mean, sorry everybody, but I didn't even put pants on, so that's why the camera went off when I got up to
Actually, Janet and I were talking one time. We were video chatting, and I got up to do something, and I didn't have pants on. I go, "Oh, did you just see me in my underwear?" She's like, "No, I went over and did something else." I was like, "Oh, good." Well,
well, I mean,
like, I wouldn't have
a
cared, but
dress. It is a dress, but it's still
a short dress.
yeah.
It's interesting that you say some of that. Today we were going to talk about trauma and sleep, and I know that you have sleep issues sometimes.
Oh yeah, I have for most of my life.
And we all know we've talked enough about the fact that trauma lives in our body, right? It doesn't go away. It lives in our nervous system. Oh, my cord was stuck, guys. It lives in our nervous system until we heal, right? And there's always going to be bits of it left over. And it's just how do we incorporate that into our lives? So, one of the things I want to talk about is how we view our trauma vis-a-vis the effects that it has and trying to deal with those effects, flowing with them versus fighting them. But first off, I thought it was really interesting. I learned the science behind when we don't get enough sleep. Why do we then feel bad? Why are our emotions, why are we in a bad mood the next day? Or why do we're more emotional? Maybe we'll cry about something or we'll get mad about something really easily. Why is that? Well, they actually know now. And what it is when we do sleep, and I think most of you have heard the statistics, 7 to 9 hours, somewhere in there is ideal. We're all a little bit different. We're all a little bit different. 8.5, my body, that's when it would love to do it. If I'm left to sleep, just left to sleep, my body will wake up at 8.5 on its own. Usually not more than that unless something, major has happened. So our bodies are programmed somewhere in there to like somewhere between 7 and 9 hours. And that is the healthiest for us. Because when we sleep, our brain goes to work, actually. It works overtime, really, when we sleep. It is healing us from everything that's happened during the day. It is sweeping out all the stuff that we don't need. It is organizing all of our thoughts and memories that came in during the day. And so it's doing a lot of work. And when we don't get enough sleep, it can't do that stuff effectively. And that's why you'll also find the next day that in addition to emotions, you may feel foggy, in addition to the fatigue, your brain just isn't working quite as quickly. You just are, you're slower with things. It's because it didn't get a chance to get rid of as much stuff as it needed to. And what is happening with this? They found that in over 60% of the people that they researched, the amygdala, which is that fight, flight, or freeze, it's for strong emotions, particularly our negative emotions are in there. It's how do we survive, right? And it's not going to be by joy. It's what do we need? What do we need? It is hyperactive in people who are not getting good sleep, either not enough sleep or poor sleep because you're having dreams or you're just not able to relax enough to get into deep REM sleep. In addition to that, they've discovered that the prefrontal cortex, which we've talked about before, because these two war, right? These two war in our trauma effects. And that's why when we're trying to think about things, the prefrontal cortex, that's the judgment center, our logic, the CEO of our brain, it kind of makes the final decision based on all the facts that it's gathered and everything. And it actually controls the amygdala when there is proper talking between the two, when everything's communicating. When the amygdala takes over, that's because there's something big happening, right? That's when it goes into survival mode. The amygdala says, I get to override you. And that reaction, where our trauma lives, is subconscious, right? It's the automatic nervous system. And it takes a fraction of a second, a fraction of a second for the amygdala to go bam and react. And that is why you can never logically do something about a situation that you said, I'm not going to react that same way. Or, next time I'm just not going to. You don't have a choice until you have healed and that amygdala knows that in this particular situation, it does not need to be on. It does not need to be concerned. Only then will you be able to, the prefrontal cortex is able to override it because the amygdala is not taking over. What happens for people who aren't getting good sleep is that there's not communication between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. And so the amygdala is just left to run free. And so can you imagine you've got a whole night worth of the amygdala just going, woohoo! And that is all that is going throughout your brain. And so when you wake up in the morning, you're feeling everything that you're feeling. It's because your amygdala has just been going nuts. It had free reign of the house. Woohoo! Nobody to stop it. And that is why you feel crappy the next day, emotionally speaking.
Yeah, while you were sleeping, your body was and your brain was tearing you apart.
Yeah, it couldn't deal with and it couldn't heal with the things that it wanted to, that you normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we'll talk about is waking up. We talk about sleeping, but waking up the right way is important as well. And I'm going to get into that when, as soon as,
Hi,
speaking,
Yaha. Is that how you say it? Yaha? No.
Yaha,
Yaha.
Yaha,
Hi.
Yaha. Yeah,
Sorry,
I
I'm
think
not
that
more
sounds good.
smiley. I'm sorry.
Hello, you're a new one for me. I have not seen you
Welcome.
before. So welcome to our chat. I hate daylight savings, and there's no reason that we should have it anymore. And
I think
half
they
the states,
stopped it now, haven't they? I mean, let
I
me
know
read
that
the.
there was a bill that they were
I
going to, but I
thought
thought
you
certain
passed it.
states still were doing it and certain
Let's
states
see.
weren't.
Um,
Because Arizona is 3 hours behind, but it's normally 2 hours behind.
because it changed. It doesn't change. We do.
Exactly. So it's just not yet. She says, Shannon's saying it, not yet. It
Oh
hasn't
well,
been
it's gonna
abolished quite
end.
yet.
It's gonna end in November 2024, but that end won't even be permanent. So I have to read up on that.
Oh my gosh, whatever.
Okay, it says dozens of states continue
Dudes.
to consider proposals to adopt either permanent daylight savings time or permanent standard time, yet no states have adopted a legislation change since 2022 because they can't do anything. Okay, I'm going to stop right there because
Basically, because none of them can get shit done.
they don't want to. They'd rather just, whatever. Oh, by the way, I realized I had when I opened the YouTube on my computer and then clicked on the link, it brought me to StreamYard. So my computer was streaming StreamYard and YouTube. That's what was wrong. I didn't have
That's
to
why
do
we were
that.
getting the
Yeah.
feedback it was going in that
That's
one.
that part, Shannon. Congress won't take it up. Congress won't take anything up. We have 2 bills right now regarding legislation on the troubled teen industry, and they just, first of all, they tack all of these crazy things onto every bill.
Yep.
And I'm not prepared today, obviously, but on the stop institutional child abuse act, there's like 5 things on there that's going to get it not passed because it's party politics. Now it's a bipartisan bill, which is spectacular. There's over 100 sponsors of the bill, which is also spectacular. It's still going to tank, and it's infuriating. And this is about children.
Yeah, the individual legislators get things tacked on, their things that they need for their states, and it's an election year, so they want to do good for their constituents back home.
Then maybe they should take care of their kids.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, they don't care. They only care about the babies in the bellies. That's all they care about. Not all of them. But
yeah, you're right, Shannon. I mean, there's pork in every bill, and it's
yes.
Anik, thank you for joining us for the time that you did, and have a really good rest.
Thanks
we
for
love
checking.
you.
I love you.
We love you very much. Thanks for drawing Jen in. We're really, really happy about that too. So I want to talk a little bit about the trauma and sleep, and it ties into some of the things that you were saying. PTSD is the only one that has both sleep disturbance and nightmares.
Yes, and I suffer with both of those.
So the sleep disturbance is what we categorize in that. It's trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, or waking up too early. So those are what we have the sleep disturbances. And then you've got nightmares, and there are night terrors as well. There's a difference between the two. Nightmares you're going to remember. Night terrors you will not.
And you're in, and a lot of times you will be woken up from them.
Yeah.
Now I do remember some of them when I'm in them and why I wake up. Like I told you about the time that I was in my dream. I was in the DV shelter and was running away from Jason, and in the dream, or terror or whatever, and he was shooting at us, and I jumped over a half wall, and I rolled off my bunk and fell face first on the cement floor in the shelter. That's how I woke up.
Yeah,
I rolled myself out of bed.
it by clinical definition,
That would be a
if
nightmare.
remembered, it's still a nightmare because
Mhm.
nightmares happen during REM sleep and
Mhm.
night terrors happen out of it.
Yeah.
So you can't technically remember whatever. So that's clinically speaking, and that's the definition. So that's all I'm positing out there. I'm not
Yeah.
going to talk much about night terrors in general because of this um, lack of self-awareness about them, but the dealings with how we can deal with nightmares, it's going to apply to night terrors as well.
Yeah.
But there are some differences, and there are some different techniques that can be used for night terrors. So that was one thing I did not address, which I can in the future, if you guys want to.
Nice
So
quote, Audrey. Sorry, I just had to say something about that quote before you start. The Hamlet quote. I could be bound in a nutshell and count myself a king in infinite space were it not that I have bad dreams.
very good.
It's so good. That's a great choice.
We know that our end goal, right? Our goal is to have good nutrition, to exercise, and to get enough sleep. These are all the hallmarks of feeling good, right? And that's
Good
what our body,
hygiene, all the stuff.
yeah, that's what our body wants, right? Unfortunately, about up to 70% of people who suffer from PTSD suffer some sort of sleep issue, whether it be sleep disturbance issue and or nightmares. And I say up to 70% because the research really was like 20 to 70%, depending on what you were talking about, because they're including each of the 3 types of sleep disturbances within this. And so that's why you've got such a broad band there.
You're
I
going to
think
find too, when you're doing research, I didn't mean to cut you off, just for the audience, is that when you do research, there's a variable about 15% percentage point either
Yep.
way. Because I was doing some research on combat vets unaliving themselves, and it's quite high. It's not as high as I thought it was. It's 13.5 currently. It used to be 7.5, but it is an epidemic amongst our veterans over the last 22 years.
Yeah. Well, they've had so many deployments.
It's also obviously it's been, it was bad. It was bad for, the friends in our generation did Desert Storm. So that's 32 years ago. And then Vietnam, which was 50 plus, 60 to 50 years ago. And so you have 3 generations. We've got our boomers that are Vietnam vets that, they suffered all the traumas that they suffered in a jungle. And then, they were purposely poisoned by their government. They were purposely addicted to drugs by their government to keep them awake or to help them sleep, and all the things that they did, and obviously the children, all the stuff, all the war stuff, right? And then starting with Desert Storm and the oil rains and everything that has physically done to my friends, including Steve. Steve was a Desert Storm veteran. But a lot of them have COPD along with their PTSD,
right?
Because that's obviously when warfare started to change. Desert Storm in 90.
Since Desert Storm, you also have so many more of our soldiers doing back-to-back deployments, multiple, 3 and 4 deployments.
Because there's no draft and people don't want to be in the military.
That just takes such a toll on them. And I would be interested to know, of the people, of that 13%, what was the average number of deployments that they did?
I'd have to do a deeper look.
Yeah, that would be
so much popping off in the TTI right now that research wise.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to get obsessed with that, but I will return to it because it really does matter.
Yeah, it's good that it's being done. Crystal, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna give you some practical tools that you can use. Maybe you've used them before, maybe you haven't, and to try and deal with the nightmares. Um, First, I'm going to just talk about in general, for sleep issues. Um, as trauma survivors, we often have trouble calming down at night, coming down from this alert. One doctor I was talking to said a patient of hers likened it to being on yellow alert constantly. And I thought that was a really good analogy to make. So our goal is to bring that down, weirdly, to red, to stop. We want to regulate our nervous system as much as possible, calming it down. And different things are going to work for different people. And that's why my list for this is fairly long. And I focused on what we can do to help versus why do we have these issues, and going more behind the scenes in that information. If anybody wants to know more information, you can certainly email me and I can discuss everything else that I have learned. But giving yourself, having a routine, a night routine and a morning routine, are going to give you the best outcomes. I'm going to talk about the morning routine second. You've got your night routine, you've made it through the night, and now you've got your morning. How you start your morning really has a big impact on how things go for the rest of the day. So if you can start it off calm, whatever works for you, whether that's you do a little bit of yoga, whether that's you do some breathing exercises, whether you journal, whether you meditate, anything calming and soothing, grab a cup of tea, something that's not your caffeine right away, to put you in that good mood, to put you in a better mindset, to calm that nervous system. So we want to be in a good place, but we want our nervous system, that automatic, that unconscious stuff, we want that to be in a good place as well. And throughout the day, if we can check in with ourselves, especially if we have a big emotion, or if we deal with something maybe poorly or well, check in, see how you're doing. Do you need to do something to kind of calm yourself at that moment? And the more that you can do that during the day, and the more that you can keep yourself calm, the easier it's going to be for you at nighttime, right? Because you're already calmer. If you're not doing anything, and let's just say, you got through the day and you're still wound up, and what do you do? Give yourself enough wind down time. And what is going to be for you, you're just going to have to play with, but keep an eye on how long from the moment you consciously say, I'm going to start to go to bed now, and you're doing the things that get you to sleep. How long is that? So keep track of that, so that you know to give yourself enough time. If you can have a set bedtime, that also is best, because your body gets used to, I know my body's used to getting up at a certain time. I will wake up at that time, regardless of the alarm now, regardless of the cats, just because I've been doing it for so long. It's the same thing about going to sleep. You're going to get tired at roughly around the same time, if you could keep that as consistent as possible. Now, in the beginning, especially when we're dealing with insomnia and trouble falling asleep, that's going to be difficult. But your goal is to say, okay, 10 o'clock is my goal, and it's going to take me a half hour to get wound down. So I'm going to start my wind down at 9:30. You may not get to sleep till midnight, but by having that as your goal, the better that you get at winding down, finding the things that work for you, the easier it's going to be, and you're going to be able to make that time.
Yeah, I found I'm on the forever search always for good super good audio on YouTube, and I found this great channel.
Yeah, Mark, you hit on a couple of the things that I was going to say. One, you always hear no screen time, right? Put away your phone.
Yeah, that
Well,
was another thing I was going to talk about too.
it depends. You know,
Yeah.
if it works for you in your lifestyle, especially for people who use it to go to meditation apps, there are calming apps. There are apps or YouTube videos that walk you through breathing exercises.
Mhm.
There's yoga nidra, which is yoga for going to sleep, for calming your nervous system down. Things like aromatherapy, if there's a scent
No.
that's really calming for you.
Yes, and can I put an asterisk on that? Lavender oil. If you put lavender oil on the bottom of your feet with or without socks, they say to do it with socks to keep it in your feet. But if you put lavender oil on the bottom of your feet, it does, I can tell you, help you fall and stay asleep.
Yeah,
The,
for some
the
for
one
some
that
reason, lavender really. Now, I cannot do lavender because
not
lavender
everyone-
is a trigger for me. It's actually a trigger smell.
not everybody can do that. See?
Exactly.
That's why there's got to be a lot of different. And there's another.
And that's why you've got to
channel.
play around with these things. You know, your brain may be smelling that thing all night long, and it really keeps you up more than it's calming you down. So
A fan helps, but we can get kind of locked out of that. I watch a channel on YouTube called Meditative Mind. You have a lot of binaural beat sounds to help you
Yep.
sleep. There's one a channel called Treble Health, and I watch this thing called they call it. It's depending on the doctor. Some doctors call it tinnitus, some call it tinnitus, but I call it tinnitus because
Yeah, so
tinnitus
do I.
sounds weird. But there's a video called Tinnitus Verde, and it's quick relief from ear ringing, and it's a bunch of sounds. It's rain on leaves, wind on leaves, crickets, all kinds of sounds that are louder than your tinnitus. And I don't know, maybe somebody else in here that suffers with insomnia also has tinnitus. I've had tinnitus for as long as I can remember. Obviously, it's gotten worse over the last 35 years, you know, with working in live music and constantly listening to live music.
Music definitely is another one. And as we're talking about it, because as we're talking about some of these
music is really good.
And two people have both talked about serenity frequencies.
Yeah, I just noticed that Mark, I don't know.
Mark and Shannon have both talked about that. Janet uses her favorite perfume, that calms her down. Mark also has tea, which can be great. There are supplements. There's organic supplements, and then there's medication, RX scripts, supplements as well, depending on what your situation is. And there's no judging, you know. I mean, you obviously need to be careful if you're getting a script. What are you getting it for? There are some new things out there now that are geared specifically towards sleep issues.
Valerian
that are made not to be addictive at all.
Yeah. Also, just a disclaimer about melatonin. Melatonin is not a drug. It's a natural occurring thing that happens in the body. If you do take it on a long-term basis, your body will stop producing melatonin, and you'll have to start taking more. And the more you take, the harder it is to get off, and the harder it is, for your body to start redeveloping the melatonin in your system. That was another thing that I learned the hard way. I tried Ambien. Obviously, I went through all the Ambien stuff.
Right.
Pardon me. You know, my body starts to shut down when I get really terrible news. So that's, of course, happening. But melatonin really it shouldn't be relied on every night, because we need our body to be able to continue to make melatonin inside. Benadryl helps with some people. With someone like me, it doesn't really help me at all. Like I could take 4 of them and I might yawn. But you know, that's just lifetime of insomnia.
And my son takes a Benadryl, and it's like you gave him 100 milligrams of caffeine.
I
be
know.
like, it's like going, vroom, 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 vroom.
Yeah.
This just goes to show you everybody is different. And that's why
Yeah.
you need, Janet says she uses a fan for her tinnitus.
Same. So do I.
So anything, and this actually keys into one of the things I was going to talk about with the nightmares is it's anything to distract yourself, anything that is going to distract your brain from latching on to that stuff. And I want to get to that in a minute because there's more with that I want to talk about. What are some of the other things? Don't eat before bed because don't have caffeine right before
Don't wake
bed.
don't wake up in the middle of the night and eat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just a personal.
Oh, I'm horrible at it. I'm horrible. I will admit, I ate a can. The can of like Pringles. Well, they started putting other chips in them, like mini chips. Well, they got mini sun chips. Yeah, I ate the entire canister at like 2 a.m. I did not realize I had eaten the whole thing until I was at the bottom. I was like, holy crap.
It's a huge side effect from what I take to help me sleep, which
in my defense,
I know is bad for you.
I don't think that there was really that much in there because it's not like those things were packed real tightly.
Yeah, but I'm smiling. I'm not judging.
I know. I just,
I did it with something last night.
I've got to make myself feel better about what I did. Yeah. So you try not to do that heavy exercise before bed. And that's why if you want to do something, they say like the yoga nidra, it's something to calm. It's not anything that's going to stress your body out. You're not trying to push yourself more at all. You're trying to calm, regulate your nervous system. That's what all of this is about. Anything that is soothing. What?
I was going to ask Crystal a message. I didn't, ask her a question, but I didn't realize you went back to your reading. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. No.
Sorry.
Well, Crystal, you have a situation where you have to eat before bed because otherwise you get ill with your meds. These are just this whole list of things that you can try, and that's why it's not going to work for everybody. There's differences with one of those because of somebody's situation, and that's why we say for some people, no screen. Putting your phone down and putting it away is going to work the best. Other people, you need to have, the music or whatever. I need to have that music. I use the frequency music as well, but then I do turn my phone upside down. So it is as dark as possible.
So the frequency music is the same thing as the binaural beats. It's just a different term for it. Because it sure sounds similar.
Except for the binaural beats will have.
Well, those you should have in your.
It goes from one ear to the other. They will alternate, and where this frequency is not necessarily that. Some do have binaural beats within them. So you have to look in the description, but otherwise it's pretty much just like nice think it's music. The
528 frequency is the one that works best for me.
Yeah, there's like 420. I've seen so many. At first, I was like the 999 and like 428 and 532 or something like that. Now there's 888 and there's 760 and there's so many different ones. I saw one last night that said, "Listen to this at night and your skin is going to tighten up." I'm like,
yeah, my favorite is the open your pineal gland, and I'm like, I'm going to have to put that on hold. I'm dealing with a lot right now. I'm not trying
I don't need to visualize at night. I've got too much visualization going on at night anyway. But the one comment that somebody said, she goes, "It works. I listen to it when I work out and my skin's tighter." And I'm like, duh, you're working out.
There's also just for anyone that wants to know about tightening your face, there are facial exercises. You look ridiculous, but there are facial exercises and like throat exercises and stuff too. If you want to, if you're worried about your
getting that turkey neck.
Giblets. Yeah, your giblets.
Yep. I noticed I started having a few of those, and I was like, I'm definitely getting older.
I've noticed
breathing exercises. With the breathing exercises, one of the things
box through the four in, hold 4 out, or it used to be 4, 8, 9.
There's different. It depends on your lung capacity, right? It depends on what's comfortable.
Yeah.
You want to breathe until your lungs are full, basically. or for some people, half full works. But what one of the doctors was saying is to, when you're doing these breathing, breathe through your nose, in and out. Because what do you do when you're in a panic? When you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode, you're breathing through your mouth. So you want to get away from that. That is activating the sympathetic nervous system. We want to activate or affect the autosympathetic nervous system and calm that down.
You're right. That is weird, Mark. And she's not lying, or they're not lying. That's a weird thing. But you know what I did yesterday? I watched tornado and disaster videos, compilations on YouTube all day yesterday. So again, I'm not here, Mark, to judge you at all, because
I watched
deal.
about the Oakland child killers and North Fox Island.
Is that why you asked me about that yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember it. But yeah,
we're going to talk about that at some point. We're going to talk about this because it's the North Fox Island that I want to focus on, and its connection to other cities where they were having manufacture of child porn. And so that's what I want to focus on. North Fox Island in Lake Michigan, off the northwest coast of Lake Michigan, is, now that people are kind of rediscovering it, because it went through its thing and then it pretty much just dropped off the radar. Unless you live in like Charlevoix or Petoskey, the area where the island's like 20 miles off, people don't, nobody I know somebody who moved to Petoskey in 2000. So 24 years, knows nothing, knows everybody there, goes boating and stuff, did not know the history of that island. So it is called the original Epstein Island. So if you know what Epstein's Island, what happened there, this is the original Epstein Island. I'm going
to be a little PR-ish here. There's a new documentary coming out. It's a new documentary. Why did it do that?
Hi, Diane. Diane is popping in to say hello to you.
That's one of my Film the Police girls.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Hi, Diane. So I'm dropping a link for the trailer for the new Troubled Teen Industry documentary.
Awesome.
Coming out on July 11th, I believe. It's called Teen Torture Inc.
Okay,
and it'll be on
Thursday of last week.
What?
Thursday?
No, I meant of July.
Of July, yeah. Next week, Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, next week. I thought you meant, never mind.
No, next week, Thursday.
So I just want to make sure that I get it exactly right. But yeah, it's called Teen Torture Inc. Oh, dang it. I'm in the wrong. Can you just copy and paste that? Because I'm not in my right one to have the rent.
What do you mean? It shows up. It's just between the cracks.
Does it show up blue? Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
So July 11th. Yeah. So next Thursday it'll be out. And this is about the Bethel boys. I told you about Andrew, how I connected with Andrew. He's one of the Bethel boys.
Mm-hmm.
Bethel training home. It was more like that place was more like a boot camp.
Yeah.
But very, very bad. Very bad. And I'm so excited. This is the third one.
North Fox Island was also billed as a place to send
foster kids. What's it?
Anybody from basically like the Cass Corridor. If they were impoverished, if you were low, you could do it as a reward.
And if you saw it, if any of you could have seen the Cass Corridor in Detroit.
Otherwise, they also, if the kid needed a little bit of redirection, they could go there for a few weeks and, have wilderness training and things of that nature, because that's cabins in the woods. That's all this place is. It's the entire island is woods and just the beach around it. So they used it both as kind of a, good and bad type of thing. And Janet is right. The police corruption that you find out that happened that allowed this to happen. Money talks also, big money, what big money will get you out of, basically. And the connection to the other cities in the this is happens in the 70s. The connection to the other cities where they had hubs that were manufacturing this, and the way they coordinated with each other is fascinating, sickening.
Mhm.
But it goes to a lot of the things that we've been talking about here. That's the reason I want to bring it up, because they have interviews with some of the survivors, and
Mhm.
you listen to them and go, if they had the information we have now, how different things could have been, because it's just so, it's textbook grooming. It's I was like jumping up in my seat, but yeah,
That's how
for
I
you
feel.
too.
That's how I feel about this in general, because you're talking about, you're
Janet, it's
talking
you
about a
too.
gut. What did she do?
She was wondering what
Oh,
platform the thing was
I
on.
answered her. It's an HBO documentary, so it's going to be on HBO on cable, and then it'll be on Max, the
Oh,
app.
the YouTube's just a trailer for it?
Yes.
Okay, got it, got it, got it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's an HBO. It's an HBO. Oh, Crave. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
But
Audrey,
that's what I get so frustrated with, when the thing that you said about, if they had the information then that they have now. I'm sorry, sweetie, but I got to call BS, because we know now and it's still happening.
oh, absolutely. But I'm talking about with the kids,
With that specific situation. Yes,
yes.
yeah. And there are some, like all three of the places that I went to have been closed and never reopened. But it's just so hard, because it is still a
Yes.
$24 billion a year, let it sink in, per year industry. You think the politicians aren't getting money? So getting people, it's amazing that we got 108 sponsors for this bill.
Right. And so you're
It
talking.
doesn't mean it's going to pass, because now we've got, so Paris just last Wednesday testified with the Ways and Means Committee, and so now we've in the last 4 weeks that we've talked to the Senate Finance Committee and the Ways and Means Committee. So that's two committees. That's really, really big. But again, and then this is coming from someone who knows a lot about government and the workings of government and politics and all that. And I'm still surprised that something like this is so hard.
Yeah.
You think it would be a given, but it's also connected to religions, or
Mm-hmm.
or things that call themselves religions, but really are just a large multi-level marketing scheme, Scientology. Um, so that's another reason why they don't want to touch it. That's why there's so many of them in Utah, because Utah, no offense, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I've been to Utah a lot, but that's a theocratic state. And they're
Yeah.
also big in California politics. So you're going to find a lot of places in California too. You look to where the states are either like the most corrupt, like Florida and Texas, politically corrupt, or you look at places, that just, they're theocratic. And Utah has a lot of pull on the West Coast, a lot of pull. Scientology has a lot of pull in Southern California at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they have.
Right.
But
Right.
it's such a ridiculous mountain to climb. And so yeah, that definitely affects my sleep too, I would say. So even if you're traumatized as a child, that the coping mechanisms, like the insomnia and the bad dreams, and that stuff is so easily triggered that sometimes you can't even avoid it. You just have to also learn that on occasion it's just going to happen, and then when you wake up the next day, you also have to have a plan for that. Like those days that you wake up and you're still, we've had this where I've called you. I
Right.
just woke up from a nightmare and I was still in it. Like, so you have to have a plan for the times that all of these great ideas don't work, because sometimes you use medications, whether they're prescription or natural or plant medicine, and that's great, but it doesn't always work. Sometimes you have so much going on in your brain that you don't even have a chance to take care of that part of your trauma and massage that and help it before you pass out exhausted, and then you wake up from a dream and it's just
And
bad.
let's talk a little, we can talk a little bit about that. So, one of the coping, one of the ideas for not only sleep disturbance issues, but also for the nightmares is journaling, getting everything out of your head during the day, everything that's happened, dump it, just dump it onto the page so that your brain doesn't have to work as much to do that, because that's one of its jobs. So if it has less to do, it's easier. Anything that can distract you from the thoughts that you have. Yeah, they definitely can stay with you and you can remember it. And I'm going to go at the end of this. There's something that really important that I want to talk about.
If I would
point
just stop interrupting her.
about dealing with this, but it's let me get to my nightmares, because there's definitely things that I want to go over. So relax, everything we've been talking about, how to relax. As calm as you can be before. If there is a particular nightmare, particular subject that you are always bothered by, it is one of the mechanisms that you can use, strategies that you can use, is to do something, watch something, if that works for you, that is happy, that is soothing, that will distract your brain from latching onto that topic overnight. Another one is, if you could turn that dream, that bad dream, if that nightmare that you have, if you could turn it into a good dream, what would that look like? And think about that, and then go to sleep with that idea in your head. And for some people, that works. It is able to kind of override the nightmare, or at least maybe the nightmare is not quite as bad because it's got some of these other aspects molded, blended into it. So that's another idea. One of the things that is extremely important is, as you were just saying, you need to have a plan in place for when it does happen. And when you do wake up, what are you going to do? Well, one, calming yourself down is huge. So again, the nose breathing, deep and slow nose breathing. Some people will call somebody, talk about it. That can be very helpful. Journaling, that can be very helpful. Some people have go-to memories, or their happy place, whatever it is, that they can think about, and that is the thing that they think about, and it can replace the nightmare. It calms you down, and you're going to be able to get back to sleep. There is also one person had a box of things that had either mementos that were positive memories, that were good things that you could focus on. One person had like stuffed animals that were fuzzy, warm fuzzies is what she thought of. And so if she was able to hold things that were fuzzy like that brought that feeling to her, that worked for her. But having a box next to your bed that has positive things in it that you can just reach into and look at, sometimes that can help. There also is a way of being able to, I don't want to say talk yourself out of dreaming, but change your nightmare, kind of like a lucid dreaming type idea. And I guess that there are some tribes that have done this for generations and generations. There is a book called Creative Dreaming by Patricia Garfield, And she goes through this and like how to fight in your dream, how to, how to change your dream into something, your nightmare into something better. I don't know much about it, but I wanted to pass that on because that may work for somebody. There are specific medicines, prescriptions that they're developing for nightmares, and I'm not quite sure how. One is an alpha blocker. A lot of people have heard of beta blockers, and this is the alpha blocker, and so they're finding success with that. Some people, they have, if you have an emotional support animal, they can be trained to wake you up when you start your nightmare. And so you don't ever get that far. You don't get to the other end of it. And so obviously that's only if you have a support animal like that. I don't think Moki would do that. I think that's beyond him. He wouldn't. Mock, you've had stuffed animals. Yeah, it's whatever works for you, whatever makes you comfortable.
All right. So
Deirdre said that her therapist made her make a box like that. So yeah,
I have very lucky in that our friend Steve Muskie's mother-in-law, Vicky's mom, made me a throw pillow out of one of Steve's t-shirts. That's one of my comfort go-tos.
Awesome.
And the other is I don't have them in here with me, that's why I'm laughing. But Heather, and it was actually ended up being a really good idea. Heather forced me to go to the Detroit Institute of Arts the other day.
Oh, awesome.
And I really needed it. And this is actually before Jamie did.
Right.
So actually I think it was Wednesday. So it was the day that he did. But I have a photograph. I don't have to
some pictures of what was in
I
there.
I have two new stuffed creatures.
Oh, awesome.
I'm gonna see if anyone can guess the artist.
Not me.
Well, you're not even looking at it.
I'm horrible. Those look like
so
they look like Mr. Rogers.
That's Andy Warhol. That's Frida Kahlo.
Oh, guess who they're supposed to represent? Oh,
yeah. So
yeah.
That's who they
I
are.
Understand.
So those are my dolls.
She
bought
really
me them because obviously I wouldn't have a GoFundMe if I could just spend money. But
no, don't worry.
I've been cuddling Frida a lot, and
that's awesome.
I chose Frida Kahlo because anybody knows her story. She had a blessed life until she was a teenager and she was in a bus accident and it destroyed her. Rick Spicer.
Hello, Rick. How are you?
Miss you, my friend. And by the way, Mac, I just want to let you know that this is helping me get back in front of the camera. And I know that I need to do it. And it look, life is just going to keep happening, right? So
it does. And it's how we deal with it. And actually, Jen, that goes perfectly into what I want to talk about. This last bit that I want to bring up for you guys to kind of talk about and have in your head. The trauma lives in our nervous system, right? And we have the effects from the trauma, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety. We have these things, these effects, these sleep disturbances. All of this is actually our body's way of protecting us from trauma. It is our body's way and our brain's way, our psyche. It is a way to not overwhelm you when you don't have a safe space or you're not ready to process the information. Nightmares, they say, are your psyche's way of trying to work through something, trying to work through trauma that is too big. It's too much for you to be able to deal with in your waking hours. So it comes through as a nightmare. And there is a thought process that goes along with this that says, look at the things in your life, look at the effects that you have. Look at them with curiosity, wondering, why do I have this? What is it protecting me from? Look at it with compassion and gratitude that it is there because it is protecting you. So instead of looking at it as a block that you've got to fix and it's a hurdle that you've got to get over, look at it as something that is there that is maybe not as helpful in your daily life, but is very helpful in terms of the trauma that it comes from. And how do you work with it? And then how do you tell it that it's okay? You're safe. We don't need that anymore. Unpacking all the reasons as to why that effect is there. What was it protecting? When you deal with all of that, you're able to say, I don't need you anymore. You did a great job protecting me from these things when I couldn't deal with them, but now I am strong enough and I am looking at all of it and I'm dealing with it and I've put it in its place and I've told myself, and myself now realizes that I am safe, I am okay, I don't need to be on constant lookout. When you look at it that way, it's a more positive way of looking at our trauma effects, things that are always looked at as a negative.
Mm-hmm.
So just being able to reframe how you think about the things that are wrong with you, right? These aren't things that are wrong with you. These are effects that you have. And they're there for a particular reason.
Yeah.
Healing, you need to find out what those reasons are.
Yeah.
And dismantle that effect, and it won't be there anymore. So that may help some people in just, it's like when you reframe an argument differently, you look at the situation from 180 degrees and go, things
Yeah.
just look different.
Yeah. I agree with what Audrey Gore said about I found 2 of my reoccurring nightmares got much better when I started talking about them a lot.
Yeah.
And that's true for me with my since childhood. I had a reoccurring nightmare that I got bit by a rattlesnake.
Mm-hmm.
That's a stress thing in the psychology world. If you look it up, it's a stress thing. But it's also given me a lifetime fear of rattlesnakes.
Yeah, right.
That's
right.
a lot of fun. Given some of the places I've lived, that's pretty fun.
Right.
I remember during Warp Tour 2009. Yeah, that was the one. So there, we'd gotten pulled over and our driver got grounded because that was when the swine flu was going around. And
Oh yeah.
the guys in Alien Ant Farm gave everybody on tour. Well, not everyone. Excuse me. It was about 45 of us that got swine flu.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
Kevin, the owner and guy who ran Warp Tour, sent us to a special clinic because at the time it's like what ended up happening with COVID is you were supposed to report outbreaks,
Right.
and then so they would have shut the tour down. So he lied and sent us to a clinic on buses. But I ended up in a hospital in Camden, New Jersey with pneumonia off the tour anyway. But what was my point for bringing this
Something about the rattlesnake dream.
So in the outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania, there's this place, a field, a park, I believe it's a park. But they have an area every year where Warped Tour used to go and set up. And every morning around 9:30, just before we were all getting ready to start, getting set up. I mean, the road crew was already setting up the stages and everything, but they had a rattlesnake wrangler.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I was just like every year I was just like, but 2009 I remembered because we had been grounded, and then another driver had to come 2 hours out and pick us up, and we were running late. That's the only reason I remembered. But yeah, Hershey, Pennsylvania was somewhere I didn't really ever want to
go back to.
No.
Talking about it can definitely be very empowering. It's just like talking about our issues. When we talk about it, we make it real. When it's real, we can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to read these comments from Janet because it definitely goes to the heart of what we're talking about. She says that trauma is something she always stuffed down, and therapy helped her realize that she could let it out, look at it, and then put it away again and not have to shove it down. It's put to the side. Or I would argue you can dismantle it and let go of those pieces. And so you're not even putting it back. You're letting it go. You don't need that protection anymore. And that's what I look at and say, especially like with my depression. And when I was realizing that doing this channel was really what I wanted to do, more than just saying I wanted to do it full time. This is my heart and soul. This is my passion. You guys, and bringing information to you and talking to you, and every new person who pops in here, I hope when they're not here anymore that they're still listening, that I didn't run them off, because I want this to be a place where people can come. And as many people as need this place, whether you just pop in, whether you lurk, whether you just watch things on replay, just to know that there is a place here. And now that there are needing a meeting shut down, and I don't know what's going on with Conversations with Christy, whether that's going to be, coming back or not.
Oh, did she stop?
I'm not sure. And that's why I said I'm not sure what happened with that, but I know what she's got going on behind the scenes. So, I'm not sure if she's stopped. But I know, especially with needing a meeting, it's left kind of a void for some people. And being able to step up and do some more shows and put some more content out, this is a really great time for it. And I am fully on board with doing that. We don't have a schedule yet. I don't know when I'm going to be adding lives. My guess is probably on like Sunday, and I'll handle the weekends. May alternate with that. Misha is committed to stepping in and filling that void as well. She's got a little more flexibility in her schedule to do daytime things. So Ben has said that, he would help out, whether it's just being on somebody else's channel or whether it's doing something on his channel as well.
What about that Tara girl?
Huh?
What about that Tara girl?
I have not seen her.
Oh.
She does her own thing, but I don't know if anyone's spoken to her. Shan's saying Ben is doing a needing in the meeting. Yeah. So I know he and Misha talked. Same time, Monday through Friday. Okay, got it. Great.
Okay, so it's still going to be 4:40 Eastern.
Eastern. Wonderful.
Okay. Well, that's fine. And so because I want to ask you about that. So is it ever since Aaron said something about the idea of simulcasting was a bad idea?
Oh,
is that why that simulcasting stopped with the lifeboat? And because I'm out of the loop.
I think it no, It actually kind of got overturned. Aaron's got another video where it says, demonetization, we won or something like that. You'll have to listen to that. I forget how he worded it, but you just need to let Spanx know. So it's anybody who wants to.
No.
But I don't know why. Like,
Spanx and I have already talked. I just hadn't seen anybody doing it. Spanx and I had already talked a while ago.
I know Mary, Blessed to Crochet, generally always does hers simulcasting on.
Well, I guess I haven't really been.
I have only been in Lifeboat like twice in the last 2 weeks, so I couldn't tell you who has been doing it or who hasn't. Does anyone
but I talked
have
to him
Ben's
a while
channel?
ago after I talked to you about whether or not how I felt about it and everything, and I talked to Spanx about him, and I told him that, while I very much appreciated, the thought of it, that my content doesn't align with the Lifeboat all the time.
Right.
But he did tell me that if there are episodes that do, to please let him know, and if I want to, he'll do that. I've tried to go back over into the Lifeboat a couple times and talk to people in chat, and it's like 3 people talk to me, and I'm just like, and I don't
kind
even
of
know.
a different crew. I found it's not
a complaint, and I mean,
it's just everything
changes, everything evolves. It's perfectly fine. I really, at the end of the day, it's on me. That I wouldn't necessarily say that I walked away. I know that kind of got thrown around there, but I got really busy doing stuff for Will, but I have times going to be opening up because he's going to be dropping his Scientology channel and sticking with the Film the Police stuff because of the nightmare that is Los Angeles protesting and streaming and modding and chatting has become horrible. I have been dragged through gravel on Reddit about this GoFundMe.
You know what? Don't read it. Don't read it at all.
I'm working on it.
It's
when your biggest pet peeve is people talking about you behind your back, you tend to get a little upset when you
I need to get you this t-shirt I saw. It said people talk behind my back, I consider them my fan club.
It's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah,
and I've taken in that everything that I've
they're putting the effort into. They're actually putting the effort into doing something towards you. It's like there's a concern somewhere. There.
And I agree with that because I've always felt that a certain number of people throughout the whole community have felt a little like funny about me, like, or intimidated or whatever.
You have a strong personality.
Yes, but that doesn't make me intimidating.
No, not
necessarily.
Intimidated
by me. That's unfortunately for them is their issue.
Exactly.
I try my best to carry myself as not an intimidating person, but just me.
You carry yourself as you, and you can't, Janet talks about her sister who is an alpha personality, and I don't consider you quite an alpha personality. You've got a strong personality, but and you can come off very strong when you are talking about like TTI because it's something that you're passionate about. Same with me, with when I'm, I get really going on the essay topic and everything. I just am like, no. But it's their issue. And I saw another t-shirt, Jen, and it said, if I'm too much, go find less.
That's fantastic.
I like that one.
Where did you see these? I need these shirts. Those are phenomenal.
You do, actually. And I told you I have a pile of gifts on my couch for you.
Oh, is it growing? Now it's a pile.
It's always been a
Just
pile.
So everybody knows that she keeps trying to bribe me into driving the 2 hours out there, which normally wouldn't be a problem. I've just been under like the most amount of stress that I've been in a long time right now.
And if she didn't have the cats, I would just she'd be here. She would be here. It's just because you would de-stress here,
Mhm.
detox a little bit of that stress here because you wouldn't have any of it, and
Right.
you will love your pile. You're gonna go. You're gonna. I mean,
Uh,
it's some of them are so perfect. I'm dying to show them to you. I almost want to get on the stream and show them to you because they're so freaking perfect. And I'm like,
no, but those joyful sounds are so great. I want to wait and actually make them.
you will absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I wanted to comment on what Rick was saying about the issue with the simulcasting, so the big channel doesn't get the money and the small one gets paid.
Right.
Spanx did say when they simulcast, he turns off the monetization on his side.
It's not about monetization for the main channel. It's about watch time. They still get watch time though, which is good for the channel that's simulcasting.
But the
But so,
monetization
but
was the issue, and that's why they demonetized those videos.
I didn't know.
What
you know,
Aaron
I'm
was
not.
talking about, that was the
Oh,
monetization issue.
I'm not there yet
Me
I've read
neither.
this. I've read the stuff about the monetization, but I
Right.
haven't paid too much attention to it yet, just enough so that I know when I get to my 500 and my 3K. Excuse me.
Isn't it a thing for a regular video like this? It's 1,000 subscribers.
I thought it was
Or
500 or no, it's 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours. But I had thought because when they did it for Carol, it was or no,
that was just so she
no,
could do
when they
super
did it
stickers.
for Reese and Tommy's channel, they got it to 1,000 hours in 2 days.
12 hours.
12 hours. Right. 12 hours.
12
Not
hours.
24. They did it in 12 hours. And that's amazing. I've been playing, I forget, but I've been trying to remember to play my videos, but I feel like I'm cheating, right? At the same time.
I know it's a
It's not
thing.
like I'm in a rush to get monetized. That's not why I want watch hours. I want watch hours for so that I come up, but I come up no matter what in the searches because I'm the only active person doing this right now.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I
and
haven't checked in the last month. People are going to start doing it. Oh, also, I'm going to be on PBS Newsnight. I just don't know when.
oh, awesome. Yeah,
They're
see,
doing
we
they're
have
doing a
difficulty
story
with
on the
mine
TTI.
because sexual assault and abuse are all no words. So it's like, what do I hashtag for half of my stuff? I have
Well,
to
I
use the
mean,
word trauma.
you could do Me Too. You can do SA. Like you can
Hey,
hashtag
Sandy.
those things. Hey,
Good to see
Sandy.
you. So good to see you.
Oh my gosh, my friends.
Yeah, smash that like button. Comment afterwards.
Punch
Those
it,
things.
punch it, punch
Yep.
that thing right in the like, and elbow the subscribe. I don't know. I just thought I'd use hockey terms today.
Yeah, there you go. Check your bell. Oh, that still works. It's still a hockey. Check your bell for notifications. Make sure that it's on all.
Yeah.
It may have changed. Like I said, you may have gotten unsubscribed. I always have 3 subscribers during the week that come and go at random. I have no idea why.
Well, we'll
But
get to a certain point where we won't even notice it. But right now, with under 500, you notice every single one, every single time.
the person, yeah, I know. I'm only at. It's so weird. I can't see you guys right now. I wanted to look up something because I had done my little thing about our watch hours, and I want to see where we're at right now because I wanted to say thank you yet again to all of you guys.
No, you have me wondering. I'm going to do the same thing.
So let's look at here.
231 I have.
Our channel has been up since about the beginning of February.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, we have just over 950 watch hours. Thank you all. I mean, that is just absolutely amazing. I thought I had to get to 4,000 watch hours for some reason. I'll have to look at those numbers again because I don't. Isn't one for
I think
super
it's free.
stickers and one's for ads. So they're different
Yeah,
levels. I think
yeah.
the
Let me look.
500 is for like to be able to get super stickers and stuff. And
I
then
thought that was for membership. That is that I don't remember how
I
because what
thought
if
it was
Gerald
super
did it?
stickers because somebody was able to send Carol one when
That's
it
what it
got to
was.
500.
See, now it says I'm down 27 subscribers, but that again is that mix up. But my watch time is up 141.2. I have my total watch hours. Where's my total? Oh,
Just set it to like 2024.
oh, there we go.
In the upper right corner there.
800. Wait,
Because you've been,
it shows so much better on my phone than it does on the computer. I look like
oh, it does.
I have 817.4 watch hours.
Awesome.
I have
Awesome.
11,586 views.
I clicked mine off, so I don't know how many views I've had. I'd be interested to know. I'll let you guys all know.
I can tell my channel's very popular when I manage to do some content.
Well, yeah, you're the only TTI one, and I really have no idea
Well, I need
how
to get off
popular
my
mine is.
I need to get off my butt about it, honestly, because now that we've got this Teen Torture Inc. coming out
Yes.
July 11th, and then there's another documentary coming out in September. I really have to get off my butt about it and stop letting my life get in the way of my purpose. That makes sense.
And that is why I decided that it wasn't, I needed to act as if, and I hate acting as if, it's just not me, but I needed to be doing things that if I want to make this full time, I need to be putting in the work. I need to be putting in the effort.
Treat it like a job.
Right. And so like this one, I'm going to need to make a video. It's 15, 20 minutes long that will just be the content of sleep and trauma. Right. And so it's a video somebody can watch because on average, people watch about a half an hour unless they're in our lives like this. And, you know, you guys are hardcore and you stick with us for the amount of time. I am going to show you. I'm just going to let you know. Okay. So my videos have gotten 6,886 views, but over 1,000 of those are from my cat.
from your shorts. It's not a joke. You do a short, people are gonna watch it. You know, funny or not funny.
And I
you know,
was
that's
looking
a great
at somebody
idea.
else's thing, and they took some just little snippets like from their lives and made those as shorts. I have not come across a video editing program that works for me.
YouTube
They're
has
either too complicated. I know, but I find that I can't get there, or I snip out the wrong thing, or
then give me timestamps from your video, from your live streams. I'll clip them and I'll send them back to you. Because now that I'm sitting at the computer, I've got about an hour before the battle starts. So I'm probably going to do some clips. Audrey Gore had a good idea.
You got pretty good at them.
The shorts. Well, because I do TikTok, and a lot of times I use my TikTok. It's really easy. And yes, you mean because I can edit? Yeah, it helps. But yeah, it would be good for your channel to comment on that documentary. I'm going
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
I am going to, because I also just recently went on because the autopsy results for the 12-year-old from Charles, Carolina came back.
Oh, awesome.
It's suffocation, which was ruled a homicide. And, you know, it doesn't end everything. They still have 3 other locations that have to be shut down. And you know, there's still a lot to do.
Right. But you got to celebrate, you got to celebrate the little things, and you'll keep commenting. And I will be commenting when there are big things that come up, like the case since the Scientology that, you know, sent that dirtbag to prison. I will be coming up and I will be commenting on some of those, but I have made my decision that my focus is going to be on the victims. My focus is going to be on the actual assault. What happened, and how, was this preventable? Could,
Right.
if people had information, would they have been able to do something about it? So
Yeah, honey.
I'm going to look at all of that instead of, I'm barely going to, I don't care about him. I don't care about his life. I don't care about why he did it.
I love you, Janet.
We're looking
And
at
thank
other
you.
things.
Just had to say goodbye to Janet and tell her
Oh,
thank
yes.
you.
Bye-bye,
I love her.
Janet. I'll talk to you later.
Well, and I mean, and let's be honest. You could be part of the law nerd community if you wanted to, and
Yeah,
you still can if you focus on essay cases.
right. That
Because
would
I
be
mean,
a
look
separate.
at Emily D. Baker. That's
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, her whole she's in documentaries and stuff now. Like she's and I like her a lot. I love her approach.
I do too.
I'm
I
just
do too.
saying you could get yourself into the law nerd rabbit hole or subsect of the YouTube, whatever you call it, but you get into the law nerd stuff. You just put that hashtag law nerd.
Right.
And then, like we talked about, the idea that I had, I don't know if you're going to start doing it too, but I think it's a really good idea, is to do an investigative video every week or more, depending on what's happening or how you feel, or, if something's breaking that you need to talk about, and then have like a recap show, like you do yours on Saturday and I do mine on Sunday. But that's the only way I'm gonna be able to, first of all, keep myself accountable to where I'm doing it, and secondly, build up the skin. I need stronger skin because I'm getting crappy comments, which means I'm doing good. I know, I remember what I've been told, what I was taught, but at the same time, it still hurts. And some of the things were true. Like if I'm trying to get across a really important story,
Right.
should I be just chatting away with the chat if nobody else there knows? Some of the people that are watching don't know in the chat, or they don't chat. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like how I used to watch Aaron and I didn't chat. I didn't believe in chat for a really long
Right.
time. And, so I took those comments as constructive criticism. And that's how I came up with the idea to do a weekly recap instead of a daily recap. Like Natalie can do the daily recap for the Scientology stuff because there's so much happening.
And she's got people who help her and send her stuff.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
huge. Absolutely.
And she's great with that. And then we've got Rabbit, who covers Scientology stuff, but also covers the true crime stuff.
Right.
And then, and then
And
for me with the troubled teen stuff, now that's going to start popping off a lot.
Exactly.
I got
and that's
an
why
email.
I had to take a different tack with the essay, because there's like Rabbit and then there's everybody else. I had to not just cover the thing. It was always my vision from the beginning that this is going to be kind of a bifurcated thing that was going to have the essay channel, the support, and the videos, trauma and sleep, CPTSD, all that kind of stuff. And then also just addressing what can we take from all of this that we've been talking about and put it over here, and if the survivors, they've talked, let's look at her video, let's look at what she's saying, what's she going through, what kind of things could she be doing? And it's just kind of almost like a learning experience.
So you're basically
educating.
One stream a week is going to be focused on a topic, and then the other one's going to be focusing on how to deal with the trauma.
Actually probably my Wednesdays and Saturdays would probably stay the same, and then I'd probably add like a Sunday or a Monday and do that as the recap. And I'd put out, like on Friday night, I would put out the video, and that's what I'm going to be practicing. And I'm not sure, it's going to be a couple of weeks because there's a lot of information with this, and there's a lot of cutting in that I'm going to need to do that I just don't know how to do right now. But that's with North Fox Island. That's going to be my first tester into that area. So I want to get in here real quick.
Yeah.
Rick says he has 33,000 views.
Well, don't brag, but I mean, good for you. I'm
That
just
is just
teasing.
absolutely phenomenal.
No, that's fantastic.
That is just, wow. And I
That
know
is.
he has
That's,
other videos too, which makes
yeah.
sense as far as his watch hours are less, but he's got, so many views. And he's
I
been
like
doing his
my
for longer.
setup now better too.
Oh, good.
I changed rooms. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, at night it'll look better because that'll be dark, and then you can see my disco ball planter. Yes, I
And
had
you
to
can
get
have
it.
your different lights on. Yeah. I just want to, I wanted to get my art hung, but I'm thinking, but if I hang it, now you won't be able to see it. So my one art, I may hang my one art really low. No, I still need you. I need you over here, you or David. David's been gone he's not going to be back for another week and a half. He's with his sister in California. So I need one of you guys to help me with putting these things together and making them actually look. I know which pictures are going to go in which room. It's just a matter of working the wall because
Oh, I'm
I
very
would just,
good at that.
huh?
I'm very good at that.
I know. That's why I need you here, dude.
I'm working on it.
Get here. Get
I'm working on it.
over here.
My next thing is that I have to get car insurance, and because it lapsed, it's going to cost me a bunch of money. You know how Michigan is.
Oh yeah.
And I have to do my tabs because my plates are expired, so I'm not really driving my car right
Do
now.
you know how much your insurance will be? Or who you're
No,
going to go through?
no, I have a couple quotes on emails, but I don't remember what the lowest one was.
Okay. Got it. We'll kind of add that into our thing, but let's just round it all up and say we're looking at doing another 5,000 guys. So
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
if you want to give, if you haven't give, you can. If you don't, just please, we're just asking you to share it. Just share it on
I'm not
any.
putting pressure on anyone.
Nope.
I'm not begging. I promise. Okay, see, this is when you know that Reddit got in my head.
Yeah, shut up.
I'm not a grifter. This is all for
shut
real.
up. We just want you to share it, and then
Yeah.
everybody from there can share it with and encourage them to share it. We just want to get the word out. And some people will not even know her and will just donate out of the goodness of their hearts because that's what they feel. You can take my community post if you want. Just share that because it's got all the information in there. I have a community post for Jen that kind of gives a little bit of a blurb and then gives the GoFundMe information. And Jen, if you send me your PayPal information, your alternate to the GoFundMe, send me that and I'll put that in the community post as well. So it'll all be in one place.
No problem. And for everybody who also it's in my it's in the description or the bio of my channel, my links.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
and if you're looking up for Jen's channel, it's Surviving the Cracks. So
it's actually Between the Cracks.
Between the Cracks. Gosh, I'm so
the channel
sorry.
we were going to do together is Surviving.
It's still there. It's got 52 subscribers or whatever. So it's there whenever we can do it. So it's just on hold.
Oh, I tried to do a copy paste, but it didn't let me. So whatever. Here, I'll just do this.
Okay, yeah, from something.
Here's
so
my
I will
PayPal.
add that then to the community post. So
PayPal.
And if you want, whether you can or cannot give.
Oh, these aren't.
Throw a comment.
I wonder why they're not.
Throw a comment for Jen.
Oh, that one did, but my PayPal didn't. That was weird.
I'll make sure and get these put down in the chat.
Okay.
Jen, every time I look at our opening, it still looks like you've got a buzz cut. The picture of us together.
Like that?
You have some hairs sticking up. I think you had it more like this. So there's just a few hairs sticking up here, and it kind of looks like you have a buzz cut, like if we got really short hair.
My name is Alfalfa.
No, it's not. It's more than that. It's more, but yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, so I tried to do that just so you know in the comments, but it wouldn't let me. So
Okay, no
if
problem.
you just go to the description. I have to make a link tree. I don't even know what that means, but it was
Yeah,
explained to me. But I have to make a link tree to put on the channel to help and put it on all my socials.
right.
Because now that I've decided I don't care if my family knows about my channel anymore,
There
because
you
I
go.
it's too much stuff and that's
Just
got
text
me
me your
bothered.
PayPal.
Huh?
Just text me your PayPal,
Oh, okay. Yeah, just at
and
gypsyjar.com.
I'll just copy it from there. 'Cause then I know it's in front of me.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, guys, my goal is, like I said, I cleaned, which was huge, and I'm trying to keep it clean. I do have dishes that need to be done, but
Me too.
that's my son had not emptied the dishwasher, which is I'll just basically fill it up again and load it, and he just needs to get it then done. So that's why they built up. But my filing is my last thing. I'm trying to decide, I've got regular ordinary bills. I'm trying to decide like how long I need to keep them, what I need to keep and put what I don't need in storage because I've just got just piles and piles and piles of things. And I have to find my birth certificate. Somewhere in here is a file labeled
Oh,
important papers, and my birth certificate is in there because I told Janet I'd go visit her, but I need a passport now. So I
wait,
need my
you can't use the enhanced driver's license?
I don't think the enhanced drivers let you in since COVID, but I'm not 100% on that.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought I asked when I got mine to have it be enhanced, but I don't know
There.
if it is. Doesn't it have to be vertical in order for it to be the enhanced one?
No, verticals are the ones that they use for kids and
Oh, for the under 21s.
mhm.
Got it. That's why his
Because
is.
Melissa already has hers, and Melissa Brielle already has hers, and I took her to her driving test uh, during last last Thursday, and so she's done, and she's got all of her hours. And yep, so on her birthday, she starts driving. She doesn't have to get a new thing or anything. Oh, and I went in my regular everybody, and in the, geez, one of these days I'll get this right.
Yep,
So
you got it.
you got my email, my GoFundMe. Oh, see, they're all together. Hang on.
That's fine.
No, I'm a. Oh, I can't.
People can pick and part from there. But I need to so that my home stuff, that is what is preventing me from doing a few more things on the channel. But my
Yeah,
goal with the channel before I do new content like this true crime stuff, I want to get these videos made of all the lives that I've done
yeah.
and get the 15-20 minute whatever video out about them.
Mhm.
So that is my goal, and some of them I'm doing a little bit more research for them. Because there's some blanks I figured I wanted to fill in that I didn't get a chance to or didn't know about to fill in with the research that I had done. So that is going to take me a while, but I can get a couple out a day on like the weekends generally. But if I didn't have to do this, or if I didn't have to do my day job, I'd be able to do so much more. So um, I'm potentially meeting with a sponsor next weekend,
Oh,
and we will see what happens. Um,
really?
yeah, I'll give you a call about it. Um,
Okay.
I'll let you guys know. I'm not sure if he's going to end up in town or not. He was supposed to be in town next weekend. I wasn't able to meet him last time he was in town because he had too much with work to deal with after hours dinners and things, that you're committed to or whatnot. So who knows? Like I said, and who knows if he, from what I've been able to verify so far, he is who he says he is, type of thing. And
That's good.
we'll go from there and see what happens. So,
Fingers crossed.
huh?
I said fingers crossed. There we go.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. So we'll see for next weekend if that ends up happening and what ends up coming out of it. I have no idea. Um, mentioned sponsorship, but we didn't get a chance to talk any more about it, and he wanted to do it in person, which I completely understand.
yeah, for sure.
But it is with the gaps that happened. It's kind of the time. The
Yeah,
things are falling into place a little bit if I can make it work. But as you know, bills got to get paid. So if I'm not doing my day job,
yeah.
gotta get money from somewhere. Um, and I'm not going to have my son try and float this. That's just not fair to him. So,
No,
um, but he's doing great at his job, he likes
I
it.
was
He likes
gonna
the
say,
crew for most of it that he does. He he is having a very significant birthday very, very soon, and he can't be more excited, and I'm excited for him. So
yay.
it's
Good to see you, Rick. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
yes, you do, you as well.
Good to see you.
So everybody who's left, which looks like there's 9 of you at least watching. I don't know if that means just in here or not, but Mark, Sandy, Janet already left, Deidre, Sharon, Shannon, all of you, Crystal. Thank you so much for being here and being here week after week after week. Some of our new people, I welcome you. Christmas was here, and
Diane was here.
Yaha was here. Diane was here. Welcome. We hope you come back. Hope that this was something that you enjoyed. You get a little bit of the flavor of how Jen and I act together.
Yeah, I'm not quite myself today, but yeah,
We
it gives you a little of an idea.
This is how we are in a more serious level or whatever.
Mhm.
So, if we were dealing with a serious topic, this is basically how you could see it going.
Yeah.
And when we get going, actually funny, it's, hilarious. So
Silly.
we'll get going at one point in time. I know it and I feel it in my soul.
Oh, I'm sitting here looking at this whole time, and I didn't realize it said stream this to your audience, and it could have been a dual thing, but whatever. I'll do it
Oh, next time.
next
Next
time.
time.
Whatever.
Mock says you're still amazing.
Yeah, you are. She's not talking about me. She'll know me. I agree.
Yeah, it could be you.
Yeah, why don't you
It's
just take
both
it
of
as
us.
you?
We'll just
Why
take
don't
it
you
as both of us. It's
Okay,
lovely.
fine. Okay, thank you.
There you go. Deidre, get some sleep. Deidre, how are you feeling? She was really sick last time we were here.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I hope
Yeah.
you're feeling better.
Deidre, are you feeling better? Has that cough gotten any better?
It's always very nice to have you around, Crystal. You're such a sweet soul.
And Sharon, so welcome. Thank you so much.
Jen, get off your butt and do some content for me to watch.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. I will. I
Deidre,
promise.
we appreciate you, and wish you also the best for getting everything ready for your last little push before you get on that plane. We're so excited for you.
I'm excited for you to get on a plane. I want to
3
get on a
weeks,
plane.
something like that. Oh my goodness. Sandy, wonderful, much better, awesome, good. I am so glad that you're feeling better. That was just yucky. I know some people have been
Yeah,
kind of getting
I'll give you an anxiety pill. It'll help you. I'm not taking them as much now. I've been going more natural. Yeah, no, it is. It is.
They gave me something different from mine, but it just really makes me sleepy, which that doesn't really help me much if I want to go out. So
no,
we're still gonna play around with that. So there were tons of different things.
Let me tell you, I went to a dispensary with Heather the other day called Spores, because psilocybin is legal here. And I got some gummies, and they're really good.
Michigan or Detroit?
Well, in Detroit, but the place that we went to is in Hazel Park, called Spores. And I got the non-trippy ones.
It's legal in Detroit.
Yeah.
Or not in Michigan, right?
It's right now it's spreading through cities.
Okay.
It will be after this election legal statewide.
Oh my gosh, that will just
And
that
before
would
I
be the
come out,
answer to my
yeah,
prayers.
before I come out, I'll get you a bag of the gummies that I got
Yeah, that would be awesome.
because they're so helpful, but they don't you're not hallucinating anything.
Right, and you don't have like after effects and things, and you're not
No.
just going
No, and
sleepy.
those are still good, and I'm gonna try them. I just wasn't ready to try them this week because of all the financial concerns, and then Jamie leaving, and
Right.
it's just
Yeah.
it's been a lot. Man,
DeAudrey,
so
I
it
know
was
you're
good to check in
scared.
with you.
I know you're scared, but this is going to be, I think this is going to be a real great move. Just think of all the people you're moving to. Not only,
Yeah.
look, Mock says you're just a ferry ride away. And you've got all your friends who have moved to Europe. So you're going to do wonderful.
I'm sorry, you're moving to Europe and you're worried about the plane ride. How exciting!
I don't know. Is it the plane ride or just the move that you're terrified of? You're right. It could be just the airplane.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm. Seriously, and you could go to your doctor and say, "Listen, I have a really serious problem flying, and I'm flying to Europe. Like I'm flying to Europe. Can I get a couple of anxiety pills?" And
Yeah.
they'll give them to you, actually. So you might want to think about that, and then you don't have to worry about taking them every day and having your body get addicted and stuff. You get
Right. You just ask for
couple.
like 2, and they'll
Yep.
give you just like this one little,
Yep.
supply. Most
One
doctors
for-
don't have a problem with that because you're using it for a very particular purpose.
Absolutely. I know a lot
You're
of
not getting
friends.
enough that you're going to be selling or anything too.
Mhm.
So yeah, that would be a very good, I know some people take, again, they take, a bunch of Benadryl or a bunch of Dramamine or, and sometimes that works. Not scared of flying. It's a huge dramatic life change. Yeah. And you do, your change is up there with divorce and death. And total job change. And you're moving yourself. Those are the 4 biggest stressors that you can possibly have on that stress scale.
What country are you moving to?
She's moving to Ireland. I know, right?
Bye.
And I guess she's just
That's
a
what I
ferry
want.
ride away from Mock in Germany, which, I mean, my God, ferry ride and you're in a different country already.
Oh my gosh, a ferry ride or a short flight, and you're anywhere you want to be in Europe.
I know. And you have so many friends there. I know it's going to be very, very different for you, but I think that you're going to really love it. Yeah, Sandy, don't you
I'm
have
so excited for you. I've looked into
Sandy
that.
has a house, I think, in Ireland too, where she's there a lot. I can't remember which. So
Nice.
hey,
I love that
there's
though.
another
'Cause
one.
I found out that I'm available for dual citizenship.
Oh, awesome.
I've been thinking, yeah, I mean, uprooting my whole life and leaving my family behind at 45 is huge. It's a trauma. It is. But I'm telling you, you are going to smile so hard when you're there and you're feeling all the things. Now, it's not going to be everything that you dreamed it was in your head. That's just a fact, but it's still going to be really amazing. And you're going to wake up on the first day after you get there and be like, I did it. I'm here. I'm starting this journey. How exciting is that? And yeah, of course, exciting and scared is also, they run concurrently, but I just think that I think it's phenomenal. I think that you'll get through your anxiety and you're gonna really love your change. But again, like I said, it's not gonna be perfect and it's gonna suck sometimes, and you just remember that. But sucks here too. Doesn't matter. That's with geography.
Yeah, and the thing is, nowadays, at least, the connection to your family that you can still keep through the internet is just, and even on your phones is phenomenal. So even though they won't be right there, which is huge, you'll still be able to keep the connection, which is great. So again, not downplaying the stress and the trauma of it, but hope you can look at it mostly positively and see all the things
and just
that
embrace your fear.
you're
Embrace
getting and
it.
you're fixing, and we're all behind you. And you've got, like you said, you've got your own friends there, and then you've got these friends here. I think
And you
Sandy's
can
over in Ireland a lot. Mock's just a little bit away. I mean,
Ma
I'm
can
sure.
go to Netherlands by car in less than an hour.
I know. Rub it in, rub it in.
Seriously. I mean, I can go to Canada in 10 minutes,
Right, right.
but that's Canada. No offense. I love Canada, obviously, but I grew up next door to it my whole life. So it's just
Right.
not really another country to me.
Well, at least Windsor isn't.
No, Windsor is just like
A suburb
we
of
used,
Detroit.
we used to call it the nice suburb of Detroit. But
Yeah.
we've had a little bit of a influence on Windsor, unfortunately.
I'm
There's so much to look forward to, including less crime,
exactly.
better health care. Oh, Thomas,
Yep.
Ty,
Your
wouldn't be
weather,
a stream with Jen if you didn't have Thomas.
yeah, you have to, all good things require you to put yourself out there a little bit.
Hey, Kim.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Let us know how it goes. So happy for you.
I mean,
No problem.
listen,
We're just kind of wrapping up right now, Kim. So you can listen to, you can listen on replay, which is fine. And I'm also going to be doing a video that kind of just puts the trauma and sleep, all together condensed
because I
for
came
you.
in here and just mucked it all up.
Nah, we got there. We just,
Yeah, we
kind
did.
of we weaved it in and out, which is fine,
We do what we do.
And I just love all you guys. But you mentioned the suburb thing, and I just wanted to say, because this was another reason why I was interested in this North Box Island thing. The guy who bought it and the guy who ran it or whatever, he is the person who developed Grosse Pointe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Oh,
You'll find out the other things he's done for Detroit, and you'd just be like, wow.
wasn't Manning Maroon, was it?
No, Frank Stanley.
Oh, I know that name.
Yeah.
I do know that name, but
Done
I'm
a
just
lot.
really. Yeah, he's a sweet kitty when he wants to be, Audrey.
I have no idea where mine are.
He's actually over there by the window looking.
Oh, I can't. Maybe I can show you. So I have one.
Aw, you little lazy butt.
Yep, he's passed out in his bed because he was sitting in my chair. He loves my butt pillow that I have. It's curved and it's depressed, so his body fits right around it.
This is our first place picture.
Awesome. That's for the
Look
overall,
at that
right?
trophy. That trophy's almost as tall as her.
Holy moly, yeah.
Yeah, that's all her. I'm just checking to make sure they didn't start yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paranoid. 16:31. So it's like 2 minutes, an hour. Man, I grew up in military time.
I know you got about a half hour before it starts.
Yeah, I got
Almost
about.
5:30.
I'm good. All right. I just had
Yeah.
to check my app so that I could see, but yeah.
Yeah, that's Moki. I actually have on my phone both cats in that same thing. Now one barely fits in it. He's like totally stretched out, but that's his blanket that he licks too, that he nurses on. It's just so weird. But
Well, would you get him?
maybe I'll put up a video of it. I have to put up a video of Moki chattering at a squirrel up on the roof. And then I went like this, and you can see the squirrel hanging over. So I need to condense it. That's what I need you to do. I need to condense that down into a short. It is so freaking funny. All right, guys. Well,
I also have to learn to be comfortable to do this while Heather's here. I think Heather's not here today, but
when's
I have
she
to
moving?
get used to doing this when she is here.
I'll give you a call. We'll talk about this. I'll give you.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Soon.
Bizarre. Yeah. Okay. Guys, all thank you so much for showing up today. We appreciate it. Next week, my goal is to start on trauma in the body, and there's so much to unpack there. I will put in the thumbnails kind of what area I focus on. There's the neurological aspect of it. There's the physiology of it. There's the emotional aspect of what happens. There's just so much time. It's going to take a lot of videos. So we may sprinkle in some other things in between there as well. Jadri, best to you for the rest of the that was wonderful. Best to you for the rest of the book that you're reading. Because I know she's reading The Body Keeps the Score right now.
That is such a great, that is, hang on, let me put that on.
I am wearing
such a very good book.
I'm wearing my alma mater today.
Yeah, that right there makes me think about Cornelius Frederick. Oh, here comes Thomas. Oh, did you want
here's my little squirrel who also has his Kalamazoo College shirt on. So, yes, hugs and love to all of you. Please, please, please remember that you are worthy, you are valuable, you are strong because you're a survivor. And above all, you are loved just how you are for who you are. Hugs and love from me. Huh? Because you said so. Exactly. So
I'm very serious about this.
Hugs and love, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you on Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.